and in business, in the corporate world. I might be this boss, I might be this chairman, I might be this CEO, calling shots and doing all sorts of things, right? I'm a leader in the space. But when I get back home, I find a wife. She cooks for me, or she does all sorts of things, not only for me, but for the family, right? Guess what? She's leading. She's leading, including me. And one of the best qualities of leadership, in particular for a leader, is one that also can be led at a particular point in time. You need to be led as a leader. Sometimes you need to sit back and say, let me absorb as a leader. Now, I like what Dr. Miles Monroe, the late, says. He says leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspirational, motivated by a passion, generated by a vision, produced by a conviction, ignited by a purpose. Now, in other words, there must be a purpose for you to realize your true leadership potential and quality. Now, leaders are made of circumstances or situations. There's a problem to be solved. Somebody raises his hand or her hand. I can stand and be counted. Tuma Minankos. Let me go and solve that problem for them. The greatest leader that ever lived is the Son of God himself. When there was a problem that God experienced with his world, with his people, he needed somebody to go and solve the problem. And somebody raised the hand by his son. That's a true leader. No blemishes whatsoever. You try and find a blemish, a dot, anything that is wrong with him, you'll never find it. I can assure you. That's a leader. Leadership is about character. And character is everything. I don't need a spin doctor as a leader to go and stand on the podium to talk for me that I didn't do 1, 2, 3. This is actually what I did. Or I didn't mean to say this. This is what I meant to say. I'm sorry to say that. I talk straight. That's me for you. Now, if you've got a character that is strong enough, it must stand for you at any given point in time, in any situation, in any eventuality. Just come to think of our greatest, or one of our greatest leaders of our time. Our founding father, Dr. Nelson Mandela. He didn't actually need somebody to stand in for him, to talk for him, because his character stood for him. I recall at some stage he was called in to go to court and answer where he was called in by Dr. Louis Late. Remember that case? Instead of him assuming his position as the statesman, he said, no, I'm going to go there and stand on my own and deal with the situation. He went to court. And guess what happened? His character stood for him. He didn't even have to say anything or that much. And that's a leader. I said, character is everything. You need to have a character in leadership as a leader. All of us here are leaders. And your character will determine how far as a leader you go. That's very important. Real leadership is about example. You can't say something else and do something. That's real leadership. It's about being an example. Leadership provides vision, energy, initiative, motivation, and passion. And leadership inspires others. That's what leaders are supposed to do. That's what leadership is all about. Leadership is principled and leadership is ethical. True leaders, they set very high standards for others to follow. Who can fit Dr. Nelson Mandela's shoes today? We're still looking for somebody. Not that there are not good leaders, whoever, or those that we currently have. They are leaders. But are they leaders that can stand to that level? It's for you to think about and answer. We're still looking for very, very good leaders. Everything in life, no matter whether you like it or you don't like it, if anything has to succeed, it's all about leadership. Nothing happens without leadership. I want to emphasize on that. Nothing changes without leadership. Nothing develops without leadership. Nothing improves without leadership. Nothing is corrected without leadership. Everything revolves around leadership. Everything. Life is all about leadership. Now, the quality of leadership that we need in our day and time, in our era, is good quality leadership. Leadership that can take us from where we are to a higher level in life. When we talk of changes that we're seeing in our country, we need to see good leadership. We need good leadership to take us to the promised land. When we voted in 1994, Babu Mkwanazi, we were promised, and still it's a promise, the promised land, by the way. When the president stands up and say, in the JSE, we only have 2% of economy of this country being controlled by blacks, he means it for real. It's true. It's true. So what does it tell us? It tells us that actually we've only received one part actually of freedom, which is political freedom. We are not economically free. I was very fortunate about a few weeks ago when President Robert Mugabe came to South Africa. I was part of the business delegation that was invited to share with the Zimbabwean counterparts. And one of the challenges that he gave through to us, I like it sometimes when you're hearing it from people like him. He talks straight, whether you like him or you don't, but he makes sense. One of the things that he said it to us as leaders, in business in particular, he said, our role as politicians, we struggled to achieve political freedom. You know what we've went through in achieving political freedom. The leadership that supported the struggle towards political freedom. But your role as business people, you still haven't fulfilled. You still have to come to the party as vigorously and as aggressively as we fought the pillars of apartheid, the pillars of segregation, the pillars of dehumanizing human beings. You guys as business need to take a similar approach in making sure that you wrestle the financial freedom.